Buns, so over the weekend we got a ton of new Endwalker information, and today I want to go over that. We had a live letter that lasted 7 hours, so yeah, I didn't watch it live. I did watch the 7-hour VOD on Saturday, and today we are going to go through it in less than 7 hours. I will help you through that, most of it was about the job info, like the new job info and all the changes to the current jobs, so that's what the bulk of this video is going to be about. However, before we get into that, I'm going to very quickly, like rapid fire, go over all the other little minor detail changes that's also going to come in Endwalker. We're going to do that, and then we're going to jump into the job stuff. The new Endwalker login screen has been revealed, and I'll just play it here for a second so you can see. As you can tell, it is no longer as jarring as before. Like, no more getting blasted out of your chair with For Raid Finder and Party Finder, the healer category will henceforth be split between pure healers, that's White Mage and now Astrologian, and the barrier healers, that is Scholar and Sage. And in Party Finder, you will be able to check a box that only lets people in that didn't clear the raid this week. So you won't have any more 2 chests, 2 chests, 2 chests, 2 chests on every other Party Finder post. Search results will also no longer show parties that you cannot join because of the 1 player per job requirement. I'm not sure how I feel about this, because sometimes I'm on a job and I see, oh, they have 1 player per job, they already have a dancer, I better just switch to another job and then I can join that group. So I hope that's a toggleable feature. Trials that drop weapons will now drop a weapon coffer in addition to the random weapon, which means much faster and easier gearing up for yourself and for your alt jobs that you're playing. And the 4th turn of high-end raids released up through 3.x will now drop a weapon coffer in addition to the original weapon reward. That's for Coils, Savage and Normal, and for Alexander Savage. Also, high-end raids released through 4.x will drop gear and accessories in coffers. So lots of coffers falling from the sky. I guess it'll be easier to discover gear that you can use. Conditional enhancements, and that's the fancy term for proc type buffs, will be able to be separated out in your HUD, so it's not all a jumbled mess all together. And so you can maybe stick those procs over by your job gauge, as you can see here with a Fire 3 and the Thunder procs, which is, you know, much more practical. Putting a ground targeted effect on the ground will suck less to do. I feel like they spent like half an hour at least discussing this, which we're not gonna spend half an hour saying that yes, you can check a box so that your cursor will not go outside the range at which you can actually put down the targeted effect. And if you press the action button again, it will just place the thing that you're trying to place on the ground. You'll be able to see your party member's target while they're casting, so you can see who that other healer is rezzing. And I wonder if that's going to mean an end to the healer res macros, which, I mean, if there's no more res macros, who's going to tell me that this is no time for a nap? Or, I'm not your mother, but I'll still raise you. Health bars will remain displayed when you are dead. So how many health points you got? 0. You got 0 health points. Unreal trials are going away until 6.1, and belts are being removed from the game, though we knew that already. The stat squish will, of course, squish many stats. Various values will be downscaled, including XP. They said that in dungeons, you'll be getting your XP from the dungeon boss and not from the random mobs running around. The enhanced echo will buff you in unsynced parties, so this will hopefully compensate for the stat squish, maybe make these unsynced dungeons and such not so painful. It should still make unsyncing easy, but we will see. The HQ items are being removed. Oh no, so I guess I have to turn into Zeppela NQ. But actually no, because HQ does not stand for headquarters or high quality either. I'll show on screen a list of items that will no longer be HQ and stuff that can still be HQ. The teleportation fees will be recalculated so that the farther you go, the more it's going to cost to get you there. So I assume that a cost for a trip to the moon is going to be astronomical. They're going to be putting the poor back in teleport. The Aetheryte map will look much, much, much better, and it will make it a lot more clear where you are going. So I guess they're putting that money right back into the system. Fisher's intuition progress will remain even after you log out, And unfortunately, data center visit is not happening until after 6.0. That is because of server congestion. Basically, they do not want to test out an experimental new feature right before launching the expansion. That's going to be probably one of the most popular expansions that Final Fantasy 14 has ever seen, so that's understandable. Also keep in mind that the media tour, reviews and articles and all that good stuff will be appearing around mid-October. And yes, I am personally invited to the media tour, and I will be reporting back to you buns about Endwalker as soon as possible. So all that information will come out in the middle of October. Okay, so now we are moving into the job section, and this is the bulk of what they were talking about in the live letter, and the bulk of what we are going to be talking about here today. Now, they said that they are going to be building on the 5.0 model for jobs. Yoshida said that he just feels like it works best and it fits the most different people, and he apologized to people who don't like the 5.0 model. I know that some jobs may be less happy with 5.0 model than others, but it is what it is, you know. They also said that they're going to be trying to equalize cooldowns across all jobs to 60 or 120 seconds for the most part. There will, of course, be exceptions, like ley lines will still be on a 90-second cooldown. Anyway, let's get into the meat of it, the meat shields specifically. The tanks first. So tanks are going to be getting greater benefits from using their defensive buffs at optimal times. Now, this is very, very, very good, because I think this is going to make playing a tank a lot more fun rather than just popping off Rampart. Popping Rampart. Because, you know, you've got big damage coming. That defensive cooldown will also benefit you in some way. So that would theoretically make you want to press the button more. Does this mean that Duty Fighter tanks will find the Rampart button? Time will tell. Ranged attacks will also no longer break your combos, and that is also true for melee DPS. For Paladin, the Request Cat spell will no longer lose potency no matter how much MP you got left, but unfortunately, this is such a stupid... It does not request cats yet. The cats to arrive to pet. A new 3-attack combo, starting with Confiture, will be added. The range of Intervene will be extended by 5 yalms, and a new Sheltron type ability is also shown there in the trailer. For Warrior, AoE combos will be able to be triggered and refreshed by your damage up buffs. Onslaught has 3 charges. Onslaught and Upheaval will cost 0 Beast Gauge, and you've got a cool new big attack after Inner Release that we don't know what exactly it does, but it does sure look cool. It does look like Nascent Flash could have a new animation. The rock shield thingy looks a little bit similar, but that could, of course, be a whole new spell. For Dark Knight, Salted Earth will now appear where you are standing, so no longer a ground-targeted AoE. And from the trailer, there also appears to be a new related action that interacts with Salted Earth in some way. I've heard some people call it Peppered Earth, but that is speculation for now. The cooldown for Delirium is reduced to 60 seconds. The plunge range is increased by 5 yalms, so it's very similar for all the tanks that got their gap closer a little lengthened. And your emotional support demon will learn a new ability. For Gunbreaker, the Gnashing Fang, Savage Claw, and Wicked Talent are now all one button. You can use Continuation after Burst Strike. You'll get 3 cartridges, and the Bloodfest can fill up all 3. And it looks like Rough Divide's range is increased by 5 yalms, like I said, similar to the other tank gap closers. So that's all for the tanks. Moving on. I'm trying to keep things going here because there's so many jobs that we need to get to. So for the melee DPS in general, Feint will reduce physical and magic damage, but it's going to do more physical damage reduction than magic damage reduction. For Dragoon, Blood of the Dragon will now be a trait, which I think is very good. You're not going to have to worry about... I don't think you had to worry about it too much before, but now even less worry. Spine Shatter Dive now has 2 charges. Lance Charge is going to be on a 60-second recast with Battle Litany on 120 seconds. Chaos Thrust appears to have a new, even more flowery animation, which I think is quite nice. Disembowel, the one that applies your damage buff, is now at long last included in your AoE rotation. I mean, better late than never, I guess. Also, you'll get a new Hanzo looking ability that will be available after your main combo. Simple geometry the floor has. It's just flat. For Monk, the chakras will now unlock at a lower level. True Strike and Twin Snakes are no longer positionals, which I was kind of surprised to hear that. Less positionals for Monk. There's a new gauge, and it's the Masterful Blitz system that's unlocked at level 60. So the abilities that you are using while you're under perfect balance will determine what kind of blitz you can cast. So if all three of these balls with the symbols on them here in the middle, if they're all the same symbol, that'll cast one type of ability. And if they're all different, then that's a different type of ability. So while casting these different abilities, you will also be gathering light and dark chakra indicated on the far right and far left sides of this gauge, the plain white ball and the purple ball. So once you have those, you can then cast some other mega ability that will presumably hurt very a lot. Shoulder tackle is being removed and replaced with a new dash type action with 3 charges that is targeted. You can target on an enemy or an ally to like rush to somebody. They didn't want you to like shoulder tackle your teammates. For Samurai, you can now apply the Jinpu and Shifu effects with AoE combos. There's also a new Super Yaijutsu. I don't know how to pronounce it. Okay, I don't know how to say it. Super Yaijutsu. There's a Super Yaijutsu that does not appear to cost Sen or Kenki or meditation charges. And it gives 1 meditation charge as well. Tsubame Geishi and Meikyo Shisui will each have 2 charges. And Third Eye will grant 10 Kenki, apparently. So I assume it will make sense to take damage now for Samurai. Get the Kenki. For Ninja, they've added new actions to Raiton, Duton, and Huton. Doton, I meant. A new action will be added that will make applying Huton easier. And the Shadowfang dot is going to be removed. It's gone. So we could not Shadowfang keep. Some of you might get that. As a Reaper, you can summon a Voidsent avatar to fight with you, and it will also seductively wrap its claws around you if you're into that sort of thing. You will get some party buffs. You can build up your soul gauge to unlock new attacks, and you have a shroud gauge that lets you become one with your avatar and use their abilities. You'll get a Shadow Gate type thing that you can port to if you so choose. You can choose to port to it before the little timer on it runs out. And they said that Reaper will not have positionals on the main combo, but you will get a couple of them on the avatar abilities. Moving on to physical ranged. For physical range, the cooldown of party-wide defensive abilities will be changed to 90 seconds. Bard is, yes, getting some love like we all hoped, but a lot of it is still a bit vague. I know that each song will enable the use of a new button that will buff the party in some unknown way. You'll also get a new action for after Apex Arrow. Songs will now last 45 seconds. Wanderer's Minuet and Battle Voice will be on 120-second cooldowns. And the job action trailer showed some like cute little seals on the side of your gauge. What they're consumed to cast though is still up in the air. Not quite satisfied with chemical warfare and flamethrowers, Machinists will also be getting a chainsaw action, as well as a new shotgun AoE. Like I love Machinists because Machinists is the one job that's like 100% done. Like everybody else has got like normal fantasy. I'm getting on a tangent, but I know like bows and like staffs. The Machinist is out here with like a flamethrower and now the chainsaw. The Automaton Queen will learn a new action. Reassemble will have 2 charges, and in general it should feel like 5.0 Machinist, so you're not going to have to learn it all over again. Dancer's proc effects like Flourishing Cascade will be shared across your single target and your AoE skills. So if you procced a close range AoE skill, but you still need to stay far away from the boss, no problem. You can still cast that proc as a single target skill in Endwalker. Now, it does look like there's some kind of a new green swirly thing for use after improvisation, and improv no longer appears to grant esprit. So it's got to have some other, hopefully more interesting use. There is a new blue finish type spell, and you can summon a massive bird, though. What kind of bird do you think that is? My guess is maybe a flamenco. For magical ranged, the Addle skill is going to be like a reverse feint. So it'll do the magic and physical damage reduction, but it's going to do more magic damage reduction than physical. Black Mage is getting a pretty significant change, with Enochian turning into a trait that you don't have to worry about at all. Like, to me, I'm learning Black Mage now, and it just seems like that's going to really, really make the playstyle much easier, especially when you have to do literally anything besides sit still. Astral Fire or Umbral Ice will be applying Enochian automatically. Sharpcast will have 2 charges, new AoE fire and ice spells. You're getting swapping between Astral Fire and Umbral Ice may make some new buttons available, and there's a new like icy fire spell, icy hot spell, ice to dull the pain and hot to relax it away. Red Mage will get a new finisher after Scorch. All mana costs will be reduced. Verflare, Verholy, and Scorch will all be AoE, part of your AoE rotation. Engagement and Displacement will be the same potency, and you will get a new party-wide defensive buff. So maybe with that defensive buff, you won't have to res as much. Probably not. Summoner was the surprise star of the show, and I'm extremely happy with what I heard about Summoner. Like, okay, let's just get into it. So, goodbye Summoner dots. Summoner dots are gone. No more dots. No more dots for Summoner. Bahamut and Phoenix durations will be 15 seconds. You can summon Ifrit, Titan, and Garuda in their really real forms, like really real, actual, real primals. You can, okay, maybe not actually, not quite like lore-wise, real primals, but basically, like, you got big-ass, ba-la-la-la-la, like, bow-down overdweller primals in your command. You're actually going to become Rydia from FF4, which is, like, so pissed, and she, and the Titan comes out. It's you. As a summoner in Endwalker, it's going to be awesome. I'm super excited about that. And your summons will give you elemental powers. So, like, you summon Titan. Oh, well, now you've got Earth aspected powers. If you summon Ifrit, you got Fire. If you summon Garuda, now you've got, like, the green, toxic, windy fart. It's 10 out of 10. It's fantastic. Cannot wait. They said it's basically like a whole new job, Summoner. As for healers, the cast time for offensive spells like Glare will be shortened to 1.5 seconds. So yes, all the healers are getting a sip of Astrologian's sweet, speedy casting juice. And the healer LB range will be extended by 50 yalms, hopefully to make LB3 reach those poor souls that need a res out in Narnia. And every healer will get a new spell that grants single target buffs. Again, vague is the theme of this live letter. The Astrologian will embrace its fate as a pure healer and not a barrier healer anymore. The nocturnal and diurnal sects are getting deleted, and your heals will now have the diurnal sect effects baked in. So, no more sects for Astrologian. Divination will be changed in some unknown way. It seems that you'll be able to use all of the seals you collect for yourself. Keep them all for yourself, to just buff yourself. They hinted that you could use different combination of the seals to create different kinds of buffs for yourself, which would be very cool and neat. There's a gorgeous AoE spell from the trailer that Astrologian does. We don't know what it does, but they did say they wanted to add some cool new effects to the healer AoE spells. They said, oh, well, White Mage has Holy, and it's so useful and good in dungeons. We want all the healers to have something cool like that. Not necessarily a stun. They want everybody to have their own flavor. So we don't know what this thing does yet. It's just some kind of comet. Maybe it activates the echo. Scholar. Sage is going to be getting a... I'm kidding. Okay, so Scholar is getting a new action that buffs the party's movement speed. But just a little bit. I mean, just a little bit, like as a treat. Like not too much. Actually, you can see it in the job action trailer. It's not quite running. It's more like power walking. Get those steps in. Scholars. Sage will be very cool, and it will be able to heal allies by attacking enemies. So yeah, many people are comparing Sage to World of Warcraft's Disc Priest, where you can actually designate a target and sort of like dance partner, and you can choose yourself for this, and all of your damaging GCDs will heal that target. So that's super cool. I think that's something that's going to fit really well into the way that healing works in Final Fantasy 14, which is DPSing with a little bit of healing on the side. You will also look incredibly cool and sexy in the process, and you're going to make sci-fi laser pew-pew noises. So what jobs do you have your eyes on for Endwalker? Are you going to change your main? Are you going to play one of the new jobs, or are you going to change to one of the existing jobs that has caught your eye with these new changes? Or are you unhappy with some of the changes that you've seen announced for your current main? Let me know in the comment section down below. Like I said, a lot of this is still quite vague, and we will not know more until the media tour information comes out in the middle of October, and people can really see how all these different jobs play. Like I said, I was invited to the media tour, so I'll be happy to share all that with you whenever I'm able. Buns, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please consider supporting the channel on Patreon or on Twitch. You can also support the channel for free by clicking the subscribe button or by sharing this video with your fellow buns of light. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.